Question of the day. Do people get better results working one-on-one than doing an online course or program? Stay tuned. My name's Erica. My team and I design immersive online courses and programs for small businesses. Now, I hear this question time and time again. People are concerned about moving from one-on-one into an online course, but they know that they have to do something because a lot of people that are working one-on-one are experiencing high rates of burnout. There's only so many hours of a day. There's only so many clients that you can serve. So of course, it's extremely time consuming and it takes a lot of time. It takes time to prep for the calls. It takes time to, when the calls are wrapped up, to be able to get the information to the person that you need to share or whatever that is. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today and talk about the misconceptions around one-on-one work. So one-on-one is great. It really does. You can meet the client exactly where they're at and just kind of serve them where they are and moving them forward. So sometimes you can work a little bit faster. You can work slower. You can work at their pace in what they need and sort of meeting them at their immediate needs in the process. One of the things that I see, especially in the coaching industry, is that when people are working on one-on-one, they don't really have a system. They don't have an educational system for how they're delivering the results to their clients. They're like, we just show up to the call, work on whatever they want, and then move about. But obviously there's some foundational stuff that needs to be addressed with clients. There is a framework that you have, even if you don't know what it is, there's probably something that you're going through that's very similar for a lot of your clients. So part of the thing that you need to do first is really sit down and figure out what it is that you do and how do you do what you do? What overlaps between all of your clients? Sort of what's the magic in it? And what does that program really look like? Because if you continue to serve one-on-one, right, it's amazing, it's great. But again, there's a lot of capacity issues internally, how you feel, and also externally, and just there's a limit to time. In transitioning your program, right, there's elements that you need to look at. But what I want to talk about today is the results, because I know a lot of people are concerned. They're like, well, they can't get the same results. They can actually get better results when you deliver an online course or program than they can one-on-one. So hear me out here. Today, I'm going to show you how people can get the same, if not better results in an online course or program compared to when you're working with them one-on-one. In an online course or program, there's a couple things that happen. You're able to cover a lot of the foundational work. So think about this. When you're meeting person one-to-one, sometimes we're jumping ahead because we're super excited to get them where they need, but they're missing that foundational piece. I actually just right before this video watched another video that a guy was talking about habits and a guy going to the gym, and he'd only go to the gym for like less than 5 minutes and leave. And people were like, that doesn't work. But he was working on the habit of showing up. Right? Because if sometimes what happens is we'll skip to things of like in weight loss and stuff, we'll skip to, let's just get to the results instead of actually building the right habit, building the strong foundation. We all know what happens when you don't build a strong foundation in a house, it collapses. Same idea. Sometimes working one-to-one, we can skip ahead of some of those foundational things that are really going to support that change and growth. So in the online system, we can ensure that they hit upon these milestones and these markers so that when we're getting those big transformations, when we're getting those big pivotal moments, that they have something to anchor back to, that they have something that they've built this from, and it can catapult them even further, even longer. How cool and amazing is that? The other thing when looking at an online course or program is you're actually able to include things that you might have missed when doing one-on-one. And I'm not saying that when you do one-on-one, you miss a bunch of things. So please don't misunderstand that, but just saying that in the online course, you can address for all kinds of other things that the person might not be able to share in that moment, again, because time is so limited. So you're actually able to create a little bit more of a holistic environment around that person surrounding them and moving them through a process to get them from A to Z. Now, one last thing I want to address when we come to these two differences, there's just a million things, and I'm just going to point out a few today, but this last part is sometimes what we see in the coaching world is that people will create a program, and that program will be very comprehensive A to Z. You can build those comprehensive programs. We love signature type programs, but there's also opportunities to be able to support them in sort of micro learnings along the way. So being able to maybe break down that whole big process that you have into 3 whole sections. So it now becomes sort of 3 courses where they kind of walk their way through each piece. So maybe that all of your clients' experiences here on the one-on-one part this is all the foundational stuff they need, and some people need A and some people need B, you can create that in that online course so that you can really still be able to tailor it. And I want to go one step further because I've really mentioned online course in a very generic way. When you layer in multidimensional learning, so you can read more about that on our channel, but multidimensional learning is adding in elements that are going to allow to take your information deeper and to get long-lasting results. Is you're going to add in and make sure that there's transformation. You're going to add in engagement. You're going to add in an immersive experience and something that's multi-sensory. So you can subscribe to this channel to learn more about these. But when you apply them into your online course, it takes it to a new level. It allows for maximum results because traditional online courses of videos and handouts are not going to be able to cut it. It's not going to be able to compare to what you're doing in the one-on-one work. So you're going to have to be able to layer it through multidimensional elements and being able to immerse your clients in these learning experiences so that they can catapult it to the next level. So if you have questions about this, drop them below. I'd love to engage in a dialogue and just talk with you more about the importance of being able to have a sustainable educational system so that you can avoid the burnout and you can maximize your revenue opportunities and maximize the amount of clients that you can serve and on the level that you can serve them. Subscribe for more videos like this and more information on being able to transform and up-level your programming.